lovely Tuesday evening. Thank you so much for joining us on the Millennium TV main news. Here are the stories making headlines. President Hakainde Hichilema says revitalization of Tazara will grow Zambia's economy. Stakeholders urge to make submissions on electoral reforms. UNICEF to promote early childhood education in Zambia. Coming up in international news, France and Morocco sign agreements with 10 billion euros on investment, infrastructure, energy. And in sports, the Copa Queens have reached the COSAFA Women's Championship semi-final after beating Comoros 7-0. I'll be back with the details after this break.
Baby sunganileke, baby sunganileke. Ona kwa mena tachokela sunganileke. Nisibani masoma pena, bati sunganileke. Vela njoka kumutima. Oh, iweka frutikana. Iwe na nevi endela na nisimu na foni.
It was all in my head. Frutikana zona.
Frutikana. Feel the rhythm, taste the fun.
With the news in detail, my name is Lovisa Chilufya. President Hakainde Hichilema has commended Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan for granting 20 hectares of land to support Tanzania-Zambia Railway Authority Tazara revitalization process. President Hakainde Hichilema says the revitalization of Tazara will benefit Zambia's economy. Speaking at the 60th anniversary celebration of Zambia-China diplomatic ties in Chonge, President Hichilema has pointed out the need to maximize the benefits of the revitalization process. He has reiterated the importance of partnerships with various stakeholders in driving the country's economic growth. He says the revitalization process will ensure Zambia's economy's growth. He has further stressed the importance of leveraging these collaborations, particularly in technology, to drive economic growth across various sectors. Mr. Hichilema states that the recent agreements will enable Zambia to modernize Tazara, boosting economic ambitions, regional trade and connectivity. He adds that the initiative aligns with the plan to develop the Lobito corridor through Angola.
This is a great achievement, a diplomatic relationship which was contrived, would you believe it, just 5 days after our independence. We became independent on the 24th of October, 1964. And on the 29th of October, 1964, 6 years today, we officially entered into a bilateral relationship, partnership between Zambia and the People's Republic of China. Under the able leadership in China, Chairman Mao. In Zambia, KK, Super Ken, we used to call him. I know the young people don't understand why we called him Super Ken. There are many reasons. But that is why the young people, the theme of this Chinese young people, we call you out, the two countries call you out. So we can pass on the spirit of our China-Zambia partnership to you, the young ones. And I must join you, the journalists, because generally you are younger people. Mr. Lezi,
Yes, sir.
it's an important day.
Chinese President Xi Jinping and Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema on Tuesday exchanged congratulatory messages on the 60th anniversary of diplomatic ties between the two countries. In his message, Mr. Jinping noted that over the past 60 years since the establishment of diplomatic relations, China-Zambia ties have withstood the test of changes in the international landscape, and the two sides have consistently upheld genuine friendship and joined hands for shared progress. He also recalled that President Hichilema attended in September the Beijing summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, during which the two presidents jointly made strategic guidance for the future development of bilateral relations. Noting that he prizes the development of China-Zambia relations, Mr. Jinping expressed his willingness to work with President Hichilema to make the anniversary as an opportunity to carry forward traditional friendship, cement mutual support, strengthen all-round cooperation, jointly advance the modernization drives of the two countries along the new journey in the new era, solidify the China-Zambia Comprehensive Strategic Cooperative Partnership, and build an even closer China-Zambia community with a shared future. In his message, Mr. Hichilema said that the 60th anniversary of diplomatic ties is an important milestone in Zambia-China relations. The bilateral partnership based on mutual respect, win-win cooperation and common prosperity has made significant contributions to the respective development of the two countries, he said. Mr. Hichilema added that he is ready to work with Mr. Jinping to create a better future and push for the greater development of Zambia-China over the friendship and their comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership. Now, Stanbic Zambia has officially launched the Solar Finance for Businesses and the Stanbic Business Solar Loan. It is a solution designed to help businesses invest in clean, stable energy sources that reduce operational costs and environmental impact. Speaking at the launch, the Stanbic Bank Chief Executive Officer, Mwindo Asiakalima, says that this initiative not only supports sustainability, but also strengthens businesses' resilience and competitiveness in a rapidly green global market. Mr. Asiakalima says that today's rollout of the business solar loan will ensure that the business is ahead of the game as the just energy transition inevitably gathers momentum to shape the business landscape in Zambia.
To mitigate the impact of the power deficit, we basically are looking at a number of alternatives, which is solar. I think solar is one of them, thermal, as well as wind. But talking to a number of clients in here, I've heard a lot about solar, and I think these are things that will be unpacked, during the session that we're having this morning. In this regard, we're excited to be launching the Solar Finance for Businesses as Stanbic Bank Zambia. The Stanbic Business Solar Finance is a solution designed to help businesses invest in clean, stable energy sources that reduce operational costs and environmental degradation.
We have just over 800,000 businesses across Africa in business and commercial banking alone. We have slightly smaller number in our corporate and investment banking. We know that every single one of these businesses will have to go on their energy journey or energy transition journey. In Zambia, we have around about 14,000 businesses in our business and commercial banking. And we know that every single one of you will have to go on that energy journey. The question, why do you have to go on an energy journey? What is happening in Zambia today is a testament that climate change is not a hoax. It's real, it's here, it's everywhere.
The Electoral Reform Technical Committee is undertaking a review of Zambia's electoral laws and processes aimed at enhancing the electoral process. This is believed to change the electoral process in the country. Heart of Mercy President Apostle Agnes Chongo Piri has therefore encouraged church mother bodies, non-governmental organizations and individuals to make submissions on the proposed changes. Apostle Chongo says that church mother bodies need to take part so that they can put their input towards the electoral process, which is being held in Lusaka at the Malungushi International Conference Center from October 28th to 30th, 2024. She says that this is a very important process because the public will have confidence in what is being done. She says shunning the process will not be ideal at this point because every input is considered to be important. Heavily armed police officers this morning sealed Embassy Park, where Zambia's 60th President Lungu was expected to lay wreaths in memory of President Michael Sata. Police also surrounded the Patriotic Front Secretariat located at the corner of Panganani and Lumumba Roads, where Mr. Lungu was supposed to hold a press briefing. Patriotic Front PF Chairperson of Information and Publicity, Emmanuel Mwamba, has announced that the party has since rescheduled the holding of the press conference and the laying of wreaths. Mr. Mwamba states that this decision was in the best interest of the memories of President Sata. He explains that President Lungu was expected to lead members of the Central Committee and members of Parliament to lay wreaths at the Barrio site to commemorate the 10th memorial anniversary of Mr. Sata.
This government is lawless in its approach. You know, when we condemn that there's an emerging dictatorship, that there's a shrinking democratic space, that there's an abandonment of the rule of law, that there's disregard to the Constitution and our laws, regulations, this is what we mean. They want only disregard. How do you invade a sacred place like the cathedral? There was an incident where the police stormed Bikoga in Matero. You saw the approval of stakeholders and the church. These are sanctuaries, are sacred places for worship. The state and the police have no space to be there. So the conduct by the police, and I hope that President Hichilema, if he didn't send the police like he has done today, that he will apologize and take action. But we know nothing will happen because he's the one that is sending them. He sent them yesterday, he has sent them today. So you can see clearly a pattern that incident yesterday was not an isolated incident. It's choreographed. Directives deny people their rights to associate, assemble, and seal off the premises. Doesn't matter what rights they have. It doesn't matter what constitutional right they have to assemble, to speak. Disregard that and take over the premises. So it's just utter lawlessness.
In a related development, democracy advocate Wesley Mianda is concerned over the disorganization surrounding the 10th anniversary memorial of the late President Sata. Mr. Mianda explains that as a former Republican president and founder of the Patriotic Front PF, the late President Sata's memorial arrangements should have gone beyond party and family interests.
The heavy debates and the confusion which characterized the late President Mr. Michael Chilufya Sata's 10th anniversary memorial service, where we saw two groups commemorating the same event, was totally wrong. It wasn't necessary. Why do we say so? Because President Sata presided over this country as Republican president, and much as we all know that the man was PF founder and party president, but by virtue of being the president of Zambia, both his first and 10th anniversary memorial services were supposed to be organized and conducted by state working hand in hand with the Sata family.
The Parliamentary Caucus on Children has expressed happiness on support for UNICEF's INSACA project, which aims to promote early childhood education (ECE). This is an endorsement that came during a visit to the Chibombwe Community Hub in Nsaka, a key site under the Early Childhood Development Program. The program also seeks to promote early childhood education alongside child development by adopting an integrated approach that combines education and nutrition care at the community level, which focuses on establishing community-based centers that also serve as parenting hubs for nutrition and caregiving support. Speaking during a visit to the center, Chikankata Member of Parliament Jacqueline Sabao, who also serves as the treasurer on the Parliamentary Caucus, has expressed her support for the initiative and stressed the need to expand the project to more rural communities. Ms. Sabao has also donated food items valued at 1,000 kwacha to support the center's nutrition program for malnourished children. UNICEF Early Childhood Education Officer Chimunya Gibson has highlighted that the initiative provides communities with access to various services and stimulation activities for children aged 0 to 3 and older, even those located far from central facilities. He notes that it encourages parents to engage with their children early, fostering communications and play to identify any developmental challenges at an early stage. And Chibombe Center Chairman Lewis Chibombe states that the facility has the potential to provide greater benefits to the community, including early childhood education, healthcare, nutrition through agriculture and child care, but has, however, emphasized the need for additional funding to fully realize these goals.
In a world where every child deserves a chance to thrive, the importance of early childhood education and access to healthcare cannot be overemphasized. Yet, for some children, these fundamental needs remain out of reach or inaccessible. In this regard, the Parliamentary Caucus on Children has shown support of UNICEF's INSACA project, which focuses on advancing early childhood education. This support came to light when the caucus members visited the Early Childhood Education Chibombwe Community Hub Nsaka, a vital center within the Early Childhood Development Program. Speaking during the visit, Chikankata Member of Parliament Jacqueline Saboa has expressed support for this initiative.
After the tour of the center, as Member of Parliament, I'm very much impressed. And as a mother, as a leader, I've decided to donate something to this center. I've donated 50 kg of maize, some trays of eggs and vegetables worth 1,000 kwacha to this center so that it will help our children who are undernourished.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, UNICEF Early Childhood Education Officer Nchimunya Gibson highlights the services that this initiative provides.
We should not wait until children come to early learning centers. We should be able to provide stimulation activities just from birth up to 3 years. So that is why we are doing that. So that some of the misconceptions that people have, one of the issues that we had there is about play and communication. Rarely do people play with and communicate with their children just from birth. But that's what science says. We should be able to do that as it supports many of the developmental faculties of language development, brain development.
And Ngangula Given, a public health nurse volunteer at the center, highlights some of the challenges he has faced while working there.
Initially, we don't have a comfortable bed where we can assess our mothers properly. Okay, but we plan also to do community clinics where we come and see men's clinic. We cannot do it because of logistic problems. So there are a lot of things that we can do.
Meanwhile, Center Chairman Lewis Chibombe had this to say.
These volunteers that are sacrificing themselves to clean the toilets, cleaning the surrounding, sometimes they would want to be appreciated. Now, looking at the capacity, we doesn't. We have some plans. If we had resources, we have a land that is behind there. So if we can be given seed or fertilizer, I think we can do it.
Mavis Msonda reporting for Millennium TV in Chongo District.
Posting in our local stories, Copperbelt clergyman Pastor Charles Chilesha says the Konkola Copper Mine KCM 2.2 billion kwacha investment in local entrepreneurship reflects Vedanta Resources' strong commitment to fostering the growth of local businesses. Pastor Chilesha has, however, urged KCM Chief Operations Officer Malcolm Mewet to prioritize empowering local small businesses with opportunities rather than focusing solely on larger enterprises. He says this approach would help revitalize the domestic economy. He emphasizes the importance of promoting a sustainable business value chain to ensure that everyone benefits from Vedanta's significant investment in KCM. He has expressed confidence that this initiative will boost socio-economic activities not only on the Copperbelt province but across Zambia. He has further thanked KCM and the Vedanta Resources Management for its commitment to empowering local businesses, as it is crucial in job creation and contributing to the national treasury.
The people of the Copperbelt province would like to commend Konkola Copper Mines PLC under the able management of Vedanta Resources for having actually come up with programs of improving as well as empowering the local businesses on the Copperbelt province and virtually nationally at large. Konkola Copper Mines PLC has so far injected 2.2 billion kwachas towards the improving of local suppliers, actually conditions, as well as contractors. We would also like to urge Mr. Malcolm Mewet, the COO, the Chief Operations Officer of Konkola Copper Mines PLC, to continue on this trajectory of empowering the local businesses, because local businesses, when they are empowered, they will subsequently contribute a whole lot to our GDP exchequer as well as the treasury.
The Constitutional Court has this morning dismissed the application by Green Party President Peter Sinkamba to stay the decision of President Hakainde Hichilema to fire 3 judges of the Constitutional Court. In the decision delivered by Constitutional Court, Judge Molife, the court said it cannot stay the decision which has already been implemented by the President. In this case, Mr. Sinkamba had sought an interim order to stay of decision of the Republican President dated 23rd September 2024 to suspend judges A.M. Sitali, M.S. Mlinga and P. Mlonda from their respective offices as judges of the Constitutional Court. Mr. Sinkamba had argued that the Constitutional Court has the power to issue interim orders, which include orders to stay the decision made by the President under the Constitution. He had informed the court that staying the decision was in the interest of justice, as the stay was to ensure that the court had an opportunity to examine the actions by the Judicial Complaints Commission, which necessitated the decision by the President to suspend judges. But the Attorney General and Judicial Complaints Commission had advanced 2 arguments that Mr. Sinkamba was not affected by the decision of the Commission, hence lacking capacity to bring the action on violation of the Constitution by the Commission. The Attorney General had also argued that the court has jurisdiction to issue interim orders to stay decision, and that stay orders are governed by the rules of the Supreme Court of England. Judge Amalife, however, said he had no authority to determine issues of whether Mr. Sinkamba could bring an action as he did under Article 2 of the Constitution, as that is the preserve of the full court. The judge also disagreed with the Attorney General that it had no power to issue interim orders to stay the decision and ruled that the rules of the Supreme Court of England relied upon the Attorney General are not applicable to decision regarding the power by the Constitutional Court. The judge also said that he could not issue the stay order as the decision to suspend the judges had already been taken by the court. Reacting to the ruling, Mr. Sinkamba cautiously, welcomed the decision of the court, saying these decisions are forming precedents which will be used against any judge in the future. He said by the court having taken an aloof position on the suspension and subsequent removal of the 3 judges, politicians will celebrate because removing judges has now been made very simple in the event of change of government. He says much as he welcomed the decision, he finds the reasoning simplistic and basic, as courts are required to issue stay orders against decisions which have already been implemented. Otherwise, the court cannot stay a decision which has not been implemented. The full bench of the Constitutional Court is yet to hear the main matter, and the court has directed that Mr. Sinkamba must file the record of proceedings by November 1st, 2024. That is all that we had for you in our local stories. We now take a break. Join us for more in international and sports news. Stay tuned.
Nilipa ulendo ine nifuna oenda naye kuja kuzinje kunkania nyanje. Nilipa ulendo ndani ya sapwela nane kuja mzinje komweti za pesa umoyo ipase ni vatra kumtima ni vatra nilifuna vatra kumtima ni vatra kumtima ni vatra.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now with the rest of the news. During President Emmanuel Macron's state visit to Morocco, he and Moroccan King Mohammed VI signed new deals at the Royal Palace, bolstering ties between the two nations. The agreements, which are worth around 10 billion euros, cover issues including investment, energy and infrastructure. According to the agreements, the French rail manufacturer Alstom will give up to 18 high-speed train cars to Morocco.
A handshake between French President Emmanuel Macron and Moroccan King Mohammed VI. During Macron's official visit to Morocco, the leaders signed new deals at the Royal Palace, bolstering ties between the two nations. The agreements, which are worth around 10 billion euros, cover issues including investment, energy and infrastructure. According to the deals, French rail manufacturer Alstom will give up to 18 high-speed train cars to Morocco. The visit comes months after President Macron altered France's long-held stance and supported Morocco's autonomy plan for the disputed Western Sahara. The move was welcomed by Rabat after years of strained relations. The Western Sahara has been fought over by Morocco and Algeria for nearly 5 decades. The territory is controlled for the most part by Morocco, but the Algeria-backed Polisario Front also claims the land as its own.
And on sports news, the Copper Queens have reached the COSAFA Women's Championship semi-final after beating Comoros 7-0. Frida Mukoma scored in 6:10:75 minutes of the game. Ochumba Luranji scored in 8 and 61 minutes. Regina Chande scored in 45 minutes and Charity Muranga scored in 81 minutes to seal the sport in the semi-finals. The Copper Queens will face Malawi on Thursday, October 31st, 2024, around 12 hours. A sporting item brings us to the end of our main news this evening, but before we go, here is a recap of stories making headlines. President Hakainde Hichilema says revitalization of Tazara will grow Zambia's economy. Stakeholders urged to make submissions on electoral reforms, and UNICEF to promote early childhood education in Zambia. In international news, France and Morocco sign agreements worth 10 billion euros on investment, infrastructure, energy. And in sports, the Copper Queens have reached the COSAFA Women's Championship semi-final after beating Comoros 7-0. You have been watching the Millennium TV main news. Thank you so much for staying with us. On behalf of the entire news crew, it is a